Good damn afternoon, Americans. Jericho Green here with you once again. And of course, do not forget this platform is 100% viewer funded. There's no plan B. There's no, well, I just do something else. This is it. I took the leap and I want to land in your waiting arms. Now, I know all of our financial balls are being squeezed by Bidenomics. But I would appreciate if you could reach all the way up inside your generosity to the elbow and pull something out for me. Links will be in the description box. So I'm pretty sure that the governor of New Mexico has lost her fucking mind because she went ahead and suspended concealed and open carry in Albuquerque and its surrounding counties. Why? Because of what she calls a surge in, quote, gun violence. Now, if somebody says gun violence, especially if they're an elected official, you can be sure you are guaranteed 100% that they are a dumbass because guns are not the source of the violence. It's the monster that picks it up and decides to wield it in a violent manner, in a murderous manner. Recently, I think a few days ago, a little 11-year-old boy was shot in a road rage situation. He was leaving a baseball game with his aunt. She cut some guy off. This is all allegedly. He followed him and then shot 17 rounds into the car, killing the 11-year-old boy and shooting her as well. And then last month, there was a little girl, a 5-year-old girl, who was shot and killed while she was laying in her bed. Now, of course, those are terrible, awful situations that you wouldn't wish on your worst enemy, but taking away the law-abiding citizens' right, not privilege, their right to protect themselves is not going to solve the problem. Now, what you could do is punish the person who did it. Put a task force together or a SWAT, whatever, a BOLO, do whatever you got to do, find the person who did this, and then prosecute them to the full extent of the law and then some. If you have a death penalty in New Mexico, I believe they do, put them to death. Put them to death quickly because that's going to send a message to the public that you can't do this. Just because you have a gun doesn't mean you can use it in this manner. And that person probably would have carried out their road rage violently with something else, a knife, a stick, a rock, a pipe, a bat, because it sounds to me like that person had murder on their heart to begin with. Because you don't blindly shoot into a car for something as stupid as being cut off without being a murderous type person. He was going to do that regardless. So you could take the guns away if you wanted to, but that person was going to act that out with something else. Guns aren't the problem. So what you're going to have are people out there who obviously don't obey the law. If you're going to shoot into a car for no reason, you're not a law-abiding citizen. So what you're trying to do is take away the law-abiding citizens' means to protect themselves. While the criminals, well, that's what they do. They're criminals. They like crime. They like to break the law. And if your law says you can't carry your gun here, well, they're going to carry their gun there because they're criminals. But that's very tyrannical. She's a Democrat, if that makes a difference. But that's a very tyrannical way to go about things. Is she says, I had to do something, or I would basically be okay with an 11-year-old being killed. No, doing something unconstitutional is not. I had to do something. I had to infringe on their rights. I had to do something. That's an emotional way to respond. That's stupid. What you do is you find this son of a bitch, and you prosecute him. You punish him. You do it quickly. And you do it without mercy. You find that piece of shit who shot that little girl while she was laying in her bed, that 5-year-old angel, and you prosecute them to the full extent of the law, and you do it quickly and without mercy. You make an example. By the time the law gets involved, we're on to the punishment phase. Crush them under the weight of the justice system. That's how you curtail things like this. You're not going to stop it. There's always going to be evil people. But the best way to protect yourself against evil on this planet is with a gun. Now, that's on a personal level. If you want to protect ourselves from the evil of the government and other outside entities, the WEF and Klaus Schwab and all those other weird goat blood bathers, well, that's a whole nother video there. But to protect yourself on a personal level against the evils of the world, like some piece of shit who would shoot into a car 17 times, is a gun. I'm not here to rehabilitate. I'm not here to understand. I'm here to protect myself and my family. That's what I'm here to do. And if it means putting down some rabid dog of a human being, then so be it. But infringing on the rights of the public at large, how does that help? These aren't regular, everyday people doing this shit. I guarantee you that piece of shit who did that probably has a rap sheet a mile long. That's not how you break into the world of crime as an adult. That's not how somebody usually takes their criminal virginity. Start small. That piece of shit probably has a rap sheet. Make an example. Punish. That's all you can do. You can't bring back that little boy or that little girl. But you can send a message to those of the people who are still alive in that area, that Albuquerque, New Mexico is not going to take this shit. And you're definitely going to stop some of those things from happening. Unfortunately, not all. There are demons among us. They've welled up from the depths of hell, and they're here. And the best thing we have to combat that is a firearm in the hands of a law-abiding citizen, period. Force multiplier. Why don't you make an effort to get as many law-abiding citizens in Albuquerque? This is where it happened, and it takes effect in Albuquerque and its surrounding counties. But why don't you make an initiative to get more law-abiding citizens to have firearms, to carry them, to be trained? That's what you should do, not take away their rights, not take away their God-given constitutional rights. What the fuck is wrong with this woman? That was a terrible decision. She said, I had to do something. Well, you should have done something else. Why don't you tell the people of Albuquerque, we will find who did this and we will punish them? I've been in touch with the district attorney and they have our full support. We will bring these people to justice and we will punish them. That's what you should have said, not the dumb shit you decided to say. She said no rights are absolute. If they're not absolute, then they're not rights. They're privileges. It's not called the Bill of Privileges, is it? I think it's called the Bill of Rights. They're not constitutional privileges. I think they're constitutional rights, which means they are absolute. I wonder if she ever hung out with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Screw Your Freedoms. No, you don't screw our freedom. Screw yourself. You guys ever seen that movie Wishmaster? One guy, he goes, yeah, you know what? I wish my lawyer would go fuck himself. Or his wife. I wish my wife's divorce attorney would go fuck himself. Your wish is my command. The guy's sitting in his office and all of a sudden his body turns around. He's like, his bones are breaking and shit. And his hips turn around and his body folds in half and he starts fucking himself. Go fuck yourself, Governor of New Mexico. Go fuck yourself, anybody else in the government who thinks that rights aren't absolute. That's what makes them rights. Rights means they are mine and can't be taken away. They are mine absolutely. So rights are absolute. I thought these people went to fancy schools and got all kinds of degrees hanging on the wall behind them in their office. They went out campaigning, right? They won the vote of the people, and we gave the vote to this? Some vile, disgusting female serpent who's going to sit there and tell you that your rights aren't absolute? Is you crazy? The answer is yes. They must be. They've got to be mentally unstable. You guys realize what happened. An elected official got in front of a microphone and told her constituents that their rights are not absolute. You sound like Justin Trudeau. No more handguns. I'm sorry, let me say it like him. No more handguns, Canada. You guys can't have them. You can't buy them, you can't sell them, and you can't import them. Suspending your rights. Suspending, that's not too far. Suspending is right around the corner from revoking. Suspending your rights is 2 or 3 houses down from revoking them completely. What are you going to do? What the fuck you going to do, huh? Constituent, you ain't going to do nothing. We're going to take away your right to carry your guns around, and we're going to slap a cloth diaper on your fucking face and make you walk around with it. What are you going to do? Good question, New Mexico. What are you going to do? I'll put a link in the description box. Check out this bullshit yourself. But you know how it goes. I try to be done with the left, but they just won't let me. Please subscribe. Hit that notification bell because every time it rings, a piece of shit lefty cries. Utilize the Linktree link. Get your ass over to JerichoGreen.net. Make sure you hit that Teespring link so you can get some merch. I am Jericho Green. Man, I'm out.